Hi everyone, welcome to this video where I will be going over the syllabus for our course, third ETST 3704, Culture, Racism, and Alienation. And I am sharing here the syllabus. I'm not going to be going over every little thing in detail. You should make sure to go through the syllabus on your own. But I do want to highlight some things. So this is what you will see in the PDF version of the syllabus, which is on Canvas, and I will show you at the end where on Canvas you can find things. So the first thing is this area here. The thing to note is my email address. That is the best way to get in touch with me for anything having to do with the class, any questions you may have, and so on. And the next section here tells you what the course is about. So basically in this class, we're going to be talking about race and racism, the history of race, how did it start, where does it come from, especially in the United States. We're going to talk about race as well systemically, and what that means. What does systemic racism mean? How does it interact with various institutions like education, health, and so on? So that's the gist in a nutshell of the kinds of things we're going to be discussing in this class. In this section here, I just sort of emphasize the importance of valuing different perspectives in our course. Of course, you have here listed our goals and learning objectives. And I talk a little bit about the importance of those skills that you're going to be developing in this class. Then I talk a little bit about my teaching philosophy. Here you get to know a little bit about me, my teaching style. I know it can be a little bit hard with online classes to get to know your professor. So I try to put it in the syllabus, some information that gives you a sense of who I am, how I teach, especially if you haven't taken a course with me before, as well as some of my educational background. In this section on online elements of this course, the important thing here to remember is that this class starts on Tuesday and goes to Monday. So in other words, the new module for each week will be posted Tuesday morning, and any assignments you have due will be due the next Monday. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, I want you to have the full weekend to be able to do any work that you have to on Monday. And also because I know a lot of other online classes end their week on Sunday nights. And so I don't want to be yet another class that you have to rush to try to turn things in on Sunday night. So hopefully that will be helpful to you, but I know it can be tricky to remember. So make sure to make a note of that in your calendars in terms of when things are due for this particular class. I also offer my office hours via Zoom since this is an online course, and I do them by appointment. So if you want to meet with me about anything having to do with the course, you can email me and we can schedule a time to meet. Let's see, the formal evaluation. So here you see sort of a quick list of what the different assignments are for the week and their point value. There are no extra credits in this class. As you can see, you have plenty of work to do. And if you dedicate yourself to those assignments, you will be fine. Here's also the grading rubric for the class. And then in the next section, we have more detailed explanations of the assignments. So one of the first assignments you're going to have is a syllabus quiz. So you should go back and read the syllabus carefully, especially the parts that I haven't gone over. And then you'll have a syllabus quiz to take, which will be a true-false type of quiz. And you will see that on our Canvas module for the first week. The next assignment is a two-part assignment. There's an introductory paper. The first part will be due during week 2, and it's a 2-page paper responding to the first prompt based on your educational, social, and personal experiences. How would you define the terms race and racism? Provide examples of what specific experiences have informed your definitions. And then part 2 will be due at the end of the semester, where you revisit what you wrote in the first part and then reflect on what you've learned throughout the semester. The first part will be due February 2nd, as I said, during week 2 through Canvas. And the assignments on Canvas, once they go live, have a lot more detailed instructions, step-by-step instructions on how to do the paper, any tips, the rubric, and so on. So make sure that you look at those instructions very carefully once the assignments open up, so that if you have any questions, you have time to email me and ask them. Another key part of this course are discussion posts, which are due weekly. In the discussion post, you'll have a choice of questions to choose from to write your response, and you also need to make sure that you respond to one of your peers as well. Your response should be at least 150 words, and your response to your peers does not have a word count specific to it, but you should make sure that you write more than just an "I agree with you" post. And you earn 10 points for each discussion post that we have throughout the semester. Then we have what I call the letter assignment. For this assignment, you write a letter to someone of your choosing to discuss topics that you've learned throughout the semester up to the date that the paper is due. You also then write a one-page reflection piece on the person you've chosen to write the letter to and why you've chosen that person. Again, there'll be much more detailed instructions on the assignment on Canvas once it goes live. And this assignment is due April 20th. Then we have midterm and final exams, which will be based on book and lecture material. This is really to test your comprehension of the different concepts that we're going to be learning in class. I provide a study guide a week before the exam is due, so you can prepare before you have to take the exam. The exams are both open book, open note. You have 2 attempts for each exam. Up to the due date of each exam. This means that if you're unhappy with your first score, you may attempt the exam again for a second time, and the highest score between the two will be retained. The midterm will be March 16th, and the final exam will be due May 14th. The next section covers the various course policies and statements. One of the key ones to focus on here is late work and extensions. Discussion posts cannot be turned in late. If there are extenuating circumstances that prevent you from submitting these on time, please make sure to email me before the due date so that we can discuss. The way I deal with extensions is through what I call OOPS tokens. You have 2 OOPS tokens throughout the semester. You choose which assignments you may want to use them for. And these can be used for most of your assignments, except for discussion posts or the final exam. When you want to use an OOPS token, you download the page from Canvas. You can submit it via email at least 1 hour before the assignment is due. And the OOPS token gives you an automatic 3-day extension. No questions asked, no explanations needed. You just submit your OOPS token and you get the 3-day extension. The rest of these policies tell you about my thoughts on the use of ChatGPT. Obviously, we're not meeting, so our attendance policy doesn't really apply. If at the end of the semester you need to take an incomplete for this class, here's the policy for that and how that works. In the next section here, I talk about the best way to communicate with me, an email policy. As I mentioned, this is the best way to communicate with me. I'm pretty much Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and sparingly on weekends, checking email. So just so that you're aware to not expect a quick response if you email me after 5 p.m. During weekdays or during the weekends. Also, communication with me is essential, particularly if you find yourself experiencing any challenges during the semester, unexpected things, an illness, death in the family, etc. That is going to get in the way of you being able to perform your very best. Please make sure to communicate those things to me early, as soon as they are happening, so that we can come up with a plan for you to be able to submit assignments so that you have a good chance of doing well in the course. If you wait until the end of the semester to tell me that something has been going on, it's kind of too late. by that point. Then, of course, you have the Student Code of Conduct, academic freedom, FERPA and what your rights to privacy are, discrimination and harassment policies for the college. If you want to appeal your grade, your final grade, this is the process to go through for that. So those are all just really giving you information in case you should need it about your rights and responsibilities. The next section gives you more information about resources on campus to help you and support you as a student. First here I have a discussion on student office hours. I call them student office hours because they are for you. And we can meet, as I said, via Zoom. You just email me and let me know when you'd like to meet, and we can set that up. If you prefer to meet in person, I'm open to coming to campus and meeting with you in person as well. But just sort of here emphasizing the importance of reaching out to your professors when you need help or have any questions at all. If you are a student with disabilities and need accommodations, please make sure to go through that office first, and then they let me know that you need an accommodation, and then we can proceed to go ahead and do that. Any religious holiday accommodations you may need for the semester, again, let me know early enough so that we can make arrangements. And then the rest here are resources on campus, the Student and Community Counseling Center, the Writing Center, the Phoenix Center, the food pantry. If you are a veteran student or have done military service, there is an office on campus to provide support for you. We also have the Center for Access and Campus Engagement and the LGBTQ Resource Center. So these are all, again, letting you know of these resources in case you're not familiar with them and in case you should need any of them throughout the semester. The rest of the syllabus here gives you information about what we will be doing every week. Here's the textbook that we will be using. Make sure to purchase that from the bookstore. You can also find it online. Just make sure you get the 3rd edition of the book because that's the one we'll be using. And then the rest here is just giving you week by week what the schedule is, what we're going to be reading, what assignments are going to be due, what the different topics are that we're going to be discussing. So you should look through this section of the syllabus along with an open calendar and be able to post on your calendar when things are going to be due. You should also make sure to turn on notifications on Canvas. That is the way that you're going to be notified about things that are due for this course, since it pretty much all takes place on Canvas. So let me stop sharing the syllabus there and share our Canvas page. There. So for the first few weeks, as people are getting settled into classes, the homepage of our Canvas page will be the syllabus page. And here you will see the full syllabus that I just showed you. This is a link for you to download it and take a look at it. But I also pulled out some of the sections that I just went over and also created pages for them for easy access. In addition to study resources that you may need, particularly around time management. Managing your time is important for this class so that you don't fall behind. And then here in the module section, this is the other part of the Canvas page that you're going to be using. Here I've published the first week just to give you an idea of what this section is going to look like. So every week there'll be a new week posted, and you'll scroll down and you'll see week 2, week 3, week 4 as those appear. And this is pretty much the setup for each week. Week 1 is a little bit longer because we have a few extra things to do. Some are long, some are short. But the best place to start is the introduction page, because that will have any announcements that I may have to share with you, as well as your weekly to-do. So there'll be a section like this in every week, introduction page with a list of every single thing you need to do for that week. So for example, this week you have to read your syllabus, you have to look through week 1 videos, read through the discussion post guidelines. I also have a sheet of advice for future students that was shared by past students who've taken this class. We also have a brief article to read. And there's a discussion post for week 1, a reminder to respond to the discussion post from another student, take your syllabus quiz, and also the Getting to Know You survey, which is a brief survey where I ask you questions just to get a sense of where you are, what your needs are, any challenges you may have this semester, just to get a sense of who's in the class, what your needs are, and how I can best serve you. So that's the best way to begin with your modules, is to look at that introduction page. Then there'll be a page that has videos for the week. There usually will be a lecture video along with the slides for the video so that you can follow along if you'd like to do that. And then anything outside of the textbook that I have for you to read will be listed here in the module as well. So this week we have these 3 things that are there, and then any assignments that you have, the syllabus quiz, the survey, and the discussion post for this week. So that's in the gist of what each week will more or less look like. Let me see here. And here in the grades section is where you can go and look at your grades, what you've grade you receive for different assignments as I grade them, get a sense of how you're doing overall in the class. So you should check that regularly whenever you're wondering how you're doing in class. Let me stop sharing here. Okay, so that should be the gist of what the course entails, what the syllabus is, what Canvas looks like. But of course, if you still have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care.